I am live right now. Gator Dave is not with me this week. Unfortunately, he is in Italy. But we are still live. So for anybody that's not watching during the live stream, I gotta change the settings so people can find us really quick. So I'm gonna do that really fast, and then we can get into week 4 college football. All right, let's see. Oh, actually, hold on one second. Can you shut your door? Hang on there. It's different without Dave. I don't like it. What is going on? What is going on? Let's see. What is up? What is up? I'm just entering this video info real quick because again we are live. So I gotta do this so people can find us. Alright, almost done. And done. Boom. Just like that. Alright. Alright. What's going on? Week 4, we're here. Gator Dave again. For those just joining in, Gator Dave is not with me this week. He is in Italy with his lovely wife. They are living it up. I had the pleasure of being on FaceTime with him and Public House a couple days back. It was awesome to live vicariously in his shoes for a little bit. Looks absolutely beautiful. I'm going to pull up last week's recap really quick. It did not go well for me at all. It did go well for Gator Dave, though, so we got to give him his props. And we're always accountable, so we got to do what it do. All right, let's see. So this is last week's recap. Gator Dave went 8-4. I did absolutely terrible. I went 4-8. Need a big bounce back this week in a big way. We did pretty well on the ones that we both were in agreement on. Well, we went 3-2, but it's positive, baby. We'll take it. But yeah, he put me in the dirt this week. Got to give him his props. 8-4. But not this week, Gator Dave. I know you're watching. You're 6 hours ahead. Not at this moment, but probably in the future. It's not happening this week, brother. It's not happening. We're taking it back. All right. So to break down this week's games, we're going to go rather quickly because I don't have Gator Dave with me this week. Not to say that he is slow, but to say that we don't have all of his great insight to help fill some more time. What's up, Public House? How you doing, brother? I see you in the chat. Let me just pull up real fast this week's picks. All right, cool. So first game we're going to get into is App State, James Madison. James Madison is getting 7 points. App State is giving 7 points. Gator Dave is on App State -7. I'll go ahead and get that out there. I love James Madison. I think they have a huge chip on their shoulder still. This is their first year going to FBS from FCS. They finally moved up, and they are here to make a statement. App State is still riding high over those wins, especially last week after that Hail Mary. I mean, they should have lost to Troy, who they were a double-digit favorite over. Barely win on that last-minute Hail Mary to stay where they are now. Now they place a very, very tough James Madison team. I like James Madison the points. 7 points is too many. Should be more like 3 or 4 in my opinion. I like James Madison to cover. I also like them money line to upset App State. You heard it here first. I'm also going to try to give you a money line parlay because I like a couple dogs this week. So I'll try to give you like a 3-teamer at some point in the show, and then you do with it as you will. All right. Next game we're going to get into is Baylor, Iowa State. It's at Iowa State. Baylor's ranked 17. Baylor is the underdog here. They're getting 3 points. I believe the line's since dropped down to 2.5. I just love Dave Aranda, Baylor's head coach. I think he is legit. I think he's got it together. Matt Campbell's great too for Iowa State, but I think Aranda is just built different, man. He's got a way to get those guys going, and especially after last week for Baylor, the week prior, with BYU. Last week they blew out Texas State, so they got back on track. So I think they do that same thing with Iowa State. I am not impressed with Iowa State's offense. Yes, they did beat Ohio last week handedly, but everybody is smashing MAC teams right now. It's kind of unfair to them. I mean, they're getting paid, but it's absolutely atrocious what MAC is doing against Power 5 schools right now. So having said that, I just like Baylor. I like the points in this situation. I think they cover, and I think they probably outright win as well. Gator Dave is also on Baylor +3. Next game we're getting into is Clemson, Wake Forest. I like Wake Forest +7 here. I love Sam Hartman. Wake Forest is playing them at home. They had a really good shot last year to beat them and sort of unthrone them, or unthrown. But Clemson ended up winning 48-27. They hung with them for a very long time in that game. I think this Wake Forest team is different this year. They had a ton of starters coming back, which we've talked about in previous shows as well as the preview show. They got a ton of starters on both sides of the ball. Offense is going. They have studs at wide receiver, stud at quarterback. I am still up in the air on DJ Uiagalelei, the quarterback for Clemson. I probably butchered the shit out of that just then. But I know their defense is still going to come to play. The thing is Wake Forest's defense. If they can lock down DJ, I think this is going to be probably a lower scoring game than what it's at. It's at 55.5 right now. I could see that being lower. And because I like it lower, I also like this game to be close. Clemson to definitely win, but I really like Wake Forest +7 as well as the money line here. It's a 12 o'clock game, but Clemson's top 5 in the country. Student body will be there for Wake. Their fans will fill that stadium. I don't know. I love Wake. Bias. I don't necessarily love them, but I love them in this situation. All right. And Gator Dave is on Clemson -7. So we got a little bit of a showdown there. The next game is going to be TCU SMU. I love TCU in this spot. Sonny Dykes is their coach. He used to be the head coach at SMU, where it's now Rhett Lashley, the old offensive coordinator from Miami, where he was in the past with Manny Diaz as the head coach. I love TCU in this spot. Sonny Dykes knows his squad of old SMU. He knows the players. He knows their weaknesses. He knows their strengths. I think he uses that to his advantage. TCU's the better team, in my opinion, anyway. So the fact is, he's going to want to go back and make a statement as to why he chose TCU and made the right decision. Now, having said that, SMU's players are going to have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder when they go to play him, and Sonny Dykes doesn't play. So just consider that. There is going to be a little bit of a grudge match here. I don't know if there is any bad blood, but I like TCU money line. Gator Dave likes TCU money line as well. Next game we're going to talk about here is going to be Utah. It's going to be the nightcap. Utah at Arizona State, 10:30 Eastern time. Utah is favored. I think they were 14 when we got them. Yeah, 14 to open. Now they're at 15.5. So there's money coming in on Utah for that line to raise like that. Arizona State just fired their head coach, Herm Edwards. That program is in disarray. It has been in disarray. Now maybe they'll start to finally get a little bit of sense of stability, maybe. But unfortunately, they're about to run into a Utah buzzsaw. I love Utah in this situation. We did get them at 14. 15.5 is a little more dicey, but I if I was being honest, I'd probably have to take them at least up to 17 and feel comfortable there. So if that line moves at all when you see this, that's kind of where I'm sitting with it. Like 16.5, 17. I think they absolutely just blow the doors off of Arizona State. I'd be hard-pressed to, there's probably going to be some students there because it's a night game, and that's, what else are you going to do kind of deal, get the buzz going. I don't think they'll be there very long. I think they're going to be hitting the bars early. I think Utah puts it on them. I wouldn't be surprised if by halftime Utah's put up like 35, honestly. Dave is also on Utah here, so we're both in agreement there. I'm not sure if he agrees on my first half statement, but we both like Utah. Next, we're going to talk about the Michigan State-Minnesota game. Michigan State just lost. They went out west, lost to Washington last week. They play Minnesota at home at 3:30 Eastern on Saturday. I like Michigan State here to bounce back. I really don't. I'm not a fan of this Minnesota team. I think they've played nothing but cupcakes so far. They got great stats on defense, great stats on offense, but they haven't played anybody. Their third down percentage on offense right now is 77.5%. The third down percentage for their defense, what they're allowing on third down, is 11.8. That is not sustainable. I mean, it's not. They are not Alabama. They are not Georgia. That is not sustainable numbers. Now they're going at Michigan State. Michigan State has a chip on their shoulder from that loss last week. They fought till the end. They still lost by 11. Minnesota absolutely dogged Colorado last week at home, 49-7, but it's Colorado. They are terrible. They give up 300 yards on the ground a game. They are awful, atrocious. Week 1, they played New Mexico State, shut them out. Week 2, they played Western Illinois, beat them 62-10. They haven't played anybody yet. Not only have they not played anybody yet, they haven't played a road game yet. So this is their first road game and first real test for Minnesota. I love Michigan State in this spot to bounce back. I like them to potentially win this outright as well. It's +3 right now. Book it. Gator Dave is on Michigan State +3 as well. Next game we're going to talk about is Oregon-Washington State. Washington State looks good, man. Washington State looks good. They are 3-0. Now, granted, last week they played Colorado State, one of those teams that they give up a whole lot of yards on defense. They won 38-7 at home. But the week before that is what kind of perked my interest in Washington State when they went to Wisconsin, held them to 14 points, and beat the Badgers. I think this team can do something. They frighten me a little bit, though. It's kind of like, what team are you going to get? Week 1, they played Idaho. They won 24-17. Was that a lot of, looking ahead to that Wisconsin game the next week that they did win? Or is that the team that could be out there that sort of lingers in the shadows? That's my only worry here with this Oregon game. I think Washington State is going to get it done. It's a home game for them. It's a 1 p.m. local kickoff. Washington State's getting 7 points right now. Oregon's got a great offense. Bo Nix seems to finally feel like he's comfortable again with Dillingham. It looks like that offense is getting something going, but I do not have faith in that defense. So ultimately, I'm on Washington State. Gator Dave is on Oregon, so I love that. We got a little showdown going on. And the money is coming in on Oregon. The line opened at +6. It's at +7 now, so it's a little bit, it has shifted that direction. Washington State, again, +7 at home against number 15 Oregon. That's my side. What's up, Scott? What's up, Public House? I am not taking Bama -40.5. 100%. I'm not touching that game. I've decided to stay away from these super big spreads. I say that, but I'm about to take a heavy favorite later in this segment. But no, I am not touching that against Vandy one bit. I could totally see Vandy covering that, honestly. Vandy's got a pretty good offense. Granted, it's Alabama. I mean, they could easily put up 60 and shut them out. I'm not touching it. I'm not going anywhere near it. I'm not going to be there. Next game we're going to talk about is Tennessee, Florida. Gator Dave's squad. I know he's biting at the grip to get back so he can see this game. It's going to be a very good one. He's got Tennessee -10, which, as you know in the past, I absolutely love because when Gator Dave goes against his squad, they always cover, except for last week. I'm on Florida +10 again. I think they bounce back in a big way. I think people are riding way too high on Tennessee right now, who hasn't played anybody but besides Pittsburgh, and they barely beat them after knocking out the starting quarterback early in the first half for the entire game. Still barely won. Now you got a Florida team who's you've sort of seen the different levels of play that they bring to the table, right? They beat Utah at home. They play a Kentucky team at home the very next week and absolutely drop the ball, frankly. And then you play South Florida last week, who maybe have gave Florida the best game that they're going to give any team all year last week. Gave it their all. Came up short. And now you have a Tennessee game that Florida has absolutely dominated for the last 15 years. When I say dominated, I mean 14-1. 14-1. I see it going similar. I think it's going to be a very good game, but I think Anthony Richardson, I saw a lot of articles and comments about how the Florida staff is holding back AR-15 from running because they don't have any depth at the quarterback position. So they're scared of him getting hurt, which is why they're making him throw the ball more and not allowing him to run. Unfortunately for the Florida Gators, if they want to be successful this year and they want to win more football games, AR-15 is going to have to run the football. The dude is built like a fucking juggernaut. I mean, it's Tim Tebow 2.0, Cam Newton 2.0. He's an absolute monster if you let him do his thing. I hope they do. I hope Napier, lets him off the leash and lets him go to work against Tennessee. As much as it pains me again, I am on Florida +10, but they have taught me recently that might not always be the best decision. But here we are. Again, Gator Dave is on Tennessee, though, so that gives me hope. Next game we're going to discuss here is UNC Notre Dame. Notre Dame is traveling to UNC to face the undefeated Tar Heels, who have no business being undefeated this year. Their first game, they beat Florida A&M 56-24. Yeah, well, guess what? In that game, it was 28-14 at halftime, and Florida A&M's quarterback pretty much did whatever he wanted to do, frankly. They won that game, though, and then App State, they pulled out that ridiculously awesome fourth quarter of a game where they won by 2, 63-61. Georgia State, they played next week. They beat them by 7, 35-28 at Georgia State in Atlanta. Now they're going back home to play Notre Dame. This is their first home game in a month since they opened with Florida A&M. So the fans will be there. It's Notre Dame. Notre Dame fans travel, and it's a Notre Dame game. Fans go to see Notre Dame play their home team. It's one of those historical teams. It's just how it is. Whether they're 1-2 or 10-0, 0-10, people want to see Notre Dame play their team. So what I'm saying is that stadium will be rocking. That stadium will be full. Drake May, the quarterback for the UNC Tar Heels, it's his first year starting. The dude leads the nation in passing touchdowns and passing yards. And if I'm not mistaken, he's a freshman. It's pretty ridiculous. Now, granted, it's 3 games. You could argue that they haven't really played anybody. This will be a good test for them. Notre Dame's defense, I think, will step up in a big way. It's just a matter of their quarterback and their offense. If Drew Pine can do something and get comfortable, then Notre Dame could, easily win this game. But if UNC can get after him and make Pine uncomfortable, I think it could go a different way. So I like UNC. I like UNC money line in this one. Gator Dave likes UNC Notre Dame over 56.5. So we'll see. I bet UGA and all the live bets, and they hit. Vandy Bama 40. That's a lot. Yeah, 100%. We got 3 more games that we're going to discuss. I'm not going to throw a surprise game at you guys this week because it's only fun to watch Dave scramble, and he's not here. So I'll save the surprise game for next week. Maybe I'll give him 2 just to get him back in the flow of things. But we still have 3 here to talk about. Next one we're going to go over is Indiana-Cincinnati. I'm just going to keep this one short and sweet. I like Cincinnati minus 17. This is Gator Dave's pick. He loves Indiana plus 17 here. By the way, Gator Dave lock, he did want me to let people know, was that Tennessee game against his Florida Gators. He thinks that's his Gator Dave lock, so I wanted to make sure I stated that. And yes, he does like Indiana plus 17 against Cincinnati, but I like Cincinnati here. I think Cincinnati has had sort of a kind of a shaky start to the year, but I think this is a game that they bounce back in. Indiana's 3-0. They're feeling good. They had an overtime win at home last week against Western Kentucky. It's a good start for the program. Cincy kind of struggled a little bit in their game against Miami of Ohio. They won by 21, but for a while, I mean, it was kind of back and forth until they sort of took control. This is going to be Cincinnati's second home game the entire year. Their first game they played at Arkansas. Second game they had Kennesaw State at home, which they dominated. And then last week they had the away game at Miami of Ohio, which granted isn't very far, but still not a home game. So they're getting their second home game of the year against Indiana. Indiana, if I'm not mistaken, has not played a road game yet. They have not. They opened with Illinois at home, beat them by 3 on that Friday night. Then they played Idaho second week, beat them 35-22. Idaho's playing people tough, apparently. I did not know this of the Vandals, but that's the second time we've mentioned them. Taking note, Idaho, I see you. Third week was Western Kentucky last week. They beat them in overtime, won by 3. And now they have their first real test with Cincinnati, and it's on the road. There's a lot of points. I get this. Cincinnati beat them last year by 14, so you have that factor of, Indiana wanting to come in and stick it to them because of that last year. I don't think it's going to happen. I really don't. I like Cincy here, kind of maybe on like a sneaky cover, but I like them minus 17. I really like them like 38-17. That's my call on this one. Gator Dave, again, likes Indiana plus 17. So he's going with the Hoosiers. Second to last game we're going to talk about here is Iowa-Rutgers, an absolutely atrocious game that I will not watch 1 second of. Iowa's offense looks like a high school team, frankly, going against an NFL team or a college D1 team. I mean, it is absolutely pitiful, 100%. There's no other word to describe it. They're playing Rutgers. Yeah, I mean, Rutgers is on the up. Don't get me wrong. I like Greg Schiano. He's an old Miami guy. Iowa's on the road at Rutgers too. So realistically, I could 100% see Rutgers winning this game. The last time they played was in 2019. Iowa won 30-0. They blanked them. The line started at Iowa minus 7.5. It is now shifted to Iowa minus 8. So a little bit of money has been put on there. The over-under line started at 35.5. We got it at 35. And that's obviously where I'm going with this. It's down to 34 now. We are both on the under. Me and Gator Dave are on the under. This Iowa offense is garbage. I mean, serious garbage. But they're going against a Rutgers offense that's also pretty bad. They're also pretty bad. Their defense is not bad. Both defenses are pretty great, frankly. The Iowa defense is pretty good. They could do a little bit better on third down. And the Rutgers defense is good. They could do a little bit better in the passing yards situation. But, I mean, both of them are giving up less than 260 total yards a game right now on defense. Whereas their offense is, Rutgers' offense, total yards 382 a game. Iowa is 233. Iowa is averaging 13 points a game. Rutgers is averaging 34 points a game. So, frankly, I am on the under 35 here, because usually when you see an under that low, it's for a reason. But I'd probably have to go Rutgers too. To be honest, I may throw them on my list and get to them. Last game we're going to discuss of the evening: USC Oregon State. By the way, these last four, these were Gator Dave's. Like, he wanted these on here. I just want to make that known. These are his doing. All right. USC Oregon State. It's another night one. USC is going to Oregon State. USC's riding high right now, man. They are top 10. They are number 7. They beat the crap out of Fresno State last week, 45-17, and made me look like a dumbass. Week before that, they beat Stanford by 13. I had Stanford. Week before that, they played Rice and absolutely beat them. I did not bet that game because I have limits. This week against Oregon State, I really want to take Oregon State. I really do. USC lost to Oregon State last year. Oregon State went to the Coliseum and beat them. So there is that revenge factor a little bit for USC, but it's a new head coach. They brought in a ton of transfers who are now starting for them. I think it's like half the amount of their starters are transfers this year, just off this year alone. So is the revenge thing really a big deal? I don't know. But Oregon State is going to be rowdy. Oh, I really want to do it, but I just can't. I bet against USC the last 2 weeks, and they've absolutely made me pay for it. So I got to sit back on this one. I want to take Oregon State, but I'm going to take the over 69. I think there's going to be a lot of offense. I love the USC offense. I mean, Lincoln Riley has them absolutely cooking right now. They could break records by the end of this year that he set. And then at Oklahoma. And then Oregon State's offense too. I mean, they're clicking right now. And USC's defense is a little shaky. They still don't have those pieces, and that's the thing too with the Lincoln Riley team. You know, whether it's his first year or his 5th year, his defenses are shaky. So having said that, again, I want to lean Oregon State. I really, really do. But I think I'm going to be on the over here, and I think it's going to be a show Saturday night out in Oregon. Gator Dave is on USC minus 5.5. And also to note, so that line is at 5.5 now. It started at USC minus 6.5. So there is money coming in on the Oregon State side for that line to drop that way. Just something to note. I think it's also USC's. No, they played Stanford, but it's not really far. It's not really far. Pasadena, LA. Or no, they're not Pasadena. Palo Verde. All right, anyway. I appreciate everybody that's been watching. Thank you again for jumping in the chat. Really means a lot, really helps us out. If you haven't already, please like this video and subscribe. Drop a comment below. Let me know who you like this week. And yeah, let's see if we can't make some money, because these first 3 weeks of this season have been rough in college. For me anyway. Gator Dave's getting it clicking now. The 8-4 week last week. He would like to say that it's 9-4 because yes, he did win the surprise game that I threw at him. I have to say that because I know that he would if he was here. But yeah, we got to turn it around. We got to get it rolling. But thank you again, everybody. Good luck this week. Week 4. Peace out. Also, oh, here, hold on. Before I do that, what I'll do is let me throw up this week's games. There you go. Quick recap. I apologize. Those of you still here, you didn't fall for the fake. App State -7 for Gator Dave. I'm on James Madison +7. We are both on Baylor +3. Gator Dave's on Clemson -7. I am on Wake +7. We're both on TCU money line. We're both on Utah -14. We're both on Michigan State +3. He's on Oregon -7. I'm on Wazoo +7. He's on the Vols -10 against his Gators. I'm on Florida +10. He's on UNC Notre Dame over 56.5. I'm on UNC money line. He's on Indiana +17. I'm on Cincy -17. Go Bearcats. And then we got the Iowa Rutgers under 35 that we both like. But I think I'm also digging the Rutgers play. I'm just saying, people. And then he is on USC -5.5. I got USC Oregon State over 69. Total record, Scott. Maybe I'll get you a total record next week. I can let you know right now, Gator Dave is definitely the current leader. I think he had a game and a half lead on me going into last week, if I want to say. And he went 8-4 and I went 4-8. So he's definitely got a good 5-game lead on me at this point. But we're going to turn it around this week. I hope he does well as well. But we got to get it going. So, dogs I'm going to hit you with really fast as well. Moneyline parlay. I love James Madison against App State. I don't really want to give you any +3, as a money line. I feel like +3 is kind of weak. Like, that's kind of like the +3, -3. Those are basically money line numbers anyway. So, it's not, you don't really get that big of a payout there. But I love James Madison money line. Wake, I like them to cover. I really want them to win this game. I just don't know if they'll be able to do it, man. I really don't. But fuck it. Throw them on there. Go Demon Deacons. We're going to go James Madison money line, Wake money line. Oh, man. I don't know if Washington State gets it done either. So we're going to go... We're gonna do this. We're gonna get wild and crazy. We're gonna go +7, and +10 on Florida. All money lines, 3-teamer. I have no idea what that pays out. I have no idea what the plus is on it. But I can tell you right now, I'm getting to the window tomorrow on it. You heard it here. James Madison money line, Wake Forest money line, Florida money line. Hopefully we make some money. Again, don't take everything that I say as certain. We are not fucking financial advisors. I don't know shit. Make your own decisions. As you can see, I do not know shit. Gator Dave, on the other hand, he's pretty good. All right, anyway, we're out of here. Thank you again for watching.